I'm life and business coach Samantha Sifring, and this is the Online Business Building Mamas podcast, where you learn how to build a wildly successful business from home while raising kids. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. Okay, so this episode is so interesting. I was sitting here writing an email for like an upcoming Monday email to all of you. And as I was writing, I was like, no, this is a podcast episode. I have to hit record and I have to just start talking about this. So here's like the overall premise of this. Right now, this week that you are listening to this is the 1-year anniversary of me officially hitting the $1 million in 12-month mark in my business, which is super exciting. And so I was just thinking about that. I was thinking about how did I do it? How did I make $1 million? And what I realized, it like really astounded me. I had never noticed this before. Maybe you have noticed it because you have heard my story, but I had not done this math. So I started my business in January of 2017, and I hit the 100K in 12-month mark in August of 2019. So that is a little over 2.5 years to get to 100K in 12 months from starting my business. I hit 1 million in 12 months in February of 2021. So I went from 100K in a year to $1 million in a year and a half. What? That's insane. So the first thing that I want to say is that that is not the right way to do it or the right pace. I am super guilty of this. I am so guilty of looking at other people's stories like a measuring stick and putting my story next to it and being like, am I on track? Am I doing it right? So I want you all to know that my story is not a measuring stick for you to know if you're doing it right. You must know that. It is just one way that one person made 100K and then $1 million. This is not like the right speed to do it. So that's the first thing that I want to say. And actually, in Simple Scaling Mastermind, what I recommend and what I want you to all be okay with is it taking 4 years to go from 100K to $1 million. If it takes you 4 years, if it takes you 6 years, who cares, right? Like, no one's going to be there with their $1 million business and be like, oh, I wish it wouldn't have taken me 6 years to get here. Like, no, they're going to be like, fuck yeah, I made $1 million. Seriously, now we're going to have to put explicit on this episode. But seriously, that is where you will be no matter how long it takes you. So you do not have my permission to use my story as a measuring stick to make yourself and your story and your pace and your business wrong. You may not. I have not given you permission to do that. I am taking that away. You cannot do that. So that's like the disclaimer, right? Here's why I want to talk about this, why I want to talk about these numbers. And as I started thinking about it, I started thinking about, okay, why did I get to $1 million so much faster than I got to 100K? I think the first thing is just in general, once you know how to make money, it's just so easy to keep making money. It's so much easier to keep making money than to figure out how to make it in the first place, which is why I created Mama to CEO. I want you all to get to that place where you know how to make money, because life is so much easier once you know how to make money. So Mama to CEO enrollment is coming up. It's coming up in about a month from when you listen to this. It's going to be mid-March. Stay tuned for all the details. But if you're listening and you're not in Mama to CEO yet, like if you're listening, you're interested in making money, or you wouldn't be here. If you're not in Mama to CEO yet, you just need to join. If you don't have a business, you'll figure it out in there. We've had clients grow extremely rapidly coming into the program with no business at all. And if you already have a business, perfect. Come in and figure out in that program how to make consistent money, how to understand how you make money, how to do it in a really simple way that fits with everything else you have going on in your life. Because that's the fun part too about my 100K journey. I had 3 kids who were under 10, and one of them was a preschooler. She was still at home with me most of the time. So what I teach you is how to make a lot of money with all the things going on in your life. You always reach out to me and you're like, but what about my special circumstance? And I'm like, literally, this program is designed for you to make money with your special circumstance. That is what the program is. Okay. End rant. There's already been 2 rants and we're only like 6 minutes in. This is great. Okay. So I came up with 3 core reasons why getting to 1 million was so much faster than getting to 100K for me. The first one, this will be no surprise if you've been around my world, it's simplicity. So if you have been following me for a while, you know I'm really into simplicity. It's kind of my thing. And this is why. When I first started my business, it was so complicated. I don't know if any of you did this, but when I started my business, I looked at like Amy Porterfield and that kind of person and was like, oh, well, they're making millions, so that must be the right way to have a business. So I was doing like super elaborate funnels and multiple courses, and like I had like a quiz freebie and like all this crazy stuff, crazy website, like all the things. Super, super complicated. And having so much of that stuff going on in my business slowed me down from getting to 100K. You think, oh yeah, all this like fancy stuff that these fancy businesses have, this must be what makes lots of money. No, like literally the most bare bones is what makes you 100K. You do not need any of that. You don't need email list, website, course, freebie, none of it. You need none of that stuff to make 100K. You can make 100K just by talking to people, and you have time to do that because guess what? You're already doing that. It's so easy. So from 100K to 1 million, I kept a very simple business. I had very few offers. I had very clear messaging. I had very simple processes. The inside of my business was very simple. It was very easy for me and my clients to understand. So there really wasn't a lot of friction taking them down the journey from finding me to learning about me, being nurtured by me, learning about what I offer, and deciding to work with me. There just wasn't a lot of complication in there. So it was really easy for clients to make that journey. So simplicity, please. Like if you do nothing else, just please have a simple business. It is so much easier. I see so many people out there who have like millions of offers, and I just want to ask them, why? Why do you hate making money? Why must you make it so hard? And so many people think that having so many offers is going to make them more money. And I promise you, it makes you less. It slows you down. It confuses your audience. It makes you look like a hot mess, to me at least. And it's just so complicated. You're going to have higher overhead with all of those offers. So just cool it with all of the offers. You can make 100K with one offer. You can make $1 million with one offer. That is what I have done in the past 6 or 7 months, I have made $1 million with one single offer. Just my mastermind in the past 7 or so months has made over $1 million. One offer. Okay. Simplicity. This is the third rant. Gosh. Okay. 10 minutes, 3 rants. This is just a ride for all of you. I hope you're loving it. Okay. Consistency is the second reason why $1 million went so much faster than the journey to 100K for me. When I first started my business back in 2017, you know what I thought would be a really good strategy? Following everybody. I followed all of the experts. I tried all of their strategies. I listened to all of their podcasts. I downloaded all of their freebies. I did all of their free worksheets. I was on all of their email lists. I was consuming all of their webinars, taking pages of notes on all of their webinars. I was learning all of the different things, and they were all conflicting. Here's what I want you to know. All the things work. So you don't get any benefit from learning them all. I think that our brains really think that we need new things to get new results. This is a fallacy. You don't have to learn all the things. Learning all the things is going to have you trying to run in all of these different directions at the same time, and it's going to keep you right where you are right now, making no progress in any direction. That is what happened to me. Around the 30K mark, I committed to just one mentor, and my business took off like crazy from that point because I was committed to only following that mentor and the process that they taught. I applied that process over and over and over. I didn't seek out all the shiny new things. I didn't believe that I needed new to get to the next level. I believed that if I kept applying the process I learned over and over again from each new level of understanding, that I would get new results. And I did. That is how I reached all of the levels in my business. I've worked with the same mentor since I was making around 30K. I am making millions now. I still work with that one mentor. And the secret is being committed to that consistency, being committed to that process, seeing it all the way through. The final thing is courage. So for the first 12 months in my business, I didn't invest in any coaching at all. As you already heard, I was downloading all the free everything I could possibly get my hands on, and I tried to DIY every single thing, including belief and mindset. I was like, hey, I already know how to coach. I'm a really good coach. I have a master's in counseling. I know all about mindset. I read all these books. I know all of this. And I had actually worked as a coach, a life coach, for a couple of years before that in somebody else's company. So I was like, I know all these things. Yeah, I had all the books, I had all the podcasts, I had a peer mastermind, and I made $40 total that whole year. And I didn't make it until October of that year, 10 months into my first year. I made my first dollars, and it was $40 only, and then I didn't make anything else for the rest of the year. Crazy. Serious magic started happening when I started investing in my business. So after that first year, January of the next year, I was like, I guess I probably need to invest if this thing is going to work. I invested about $300 and I made $1,000 that month. I kept investing. I kept making money. But I'll tell you what, it was really scary making the investment. It was really scary. I had never invested something like that before. I think that I also didn't necessarily even believe that I could make the business work. There are some of you out there. So like when I was doing one-on-one coaching, I remember raising my rate up to $15,000 and thinking, now I'm not going to get any more like people who are at the very beginning of their business. I was so wrong. And I want to say like so much respect to those of you at the beginning of your business investing that kind of money in your business. Like, wow. Even the clients I had at like $5,000 and $10,000, I was like, damn, you're investing serious money at the very beginning of your business before you've made anything. Like those kind of people, they just know. They just know that they're going to make money. My friend Kristen Boss is exactly like this. She was my one-on-one client years ago. She paid $10,000. She had made like maybe $1,000 in her business so far. She made like $20,000 that first month. We have a podcast episode all about it from when we were working together. We can link that up for you. But it was crazy. Like she just like knew she was going to make it work. I was not that person. So investing, I feel like was a whole different level of scary for me because I didn't actually all the way believe that I could do it. And I had to, with that investment, decide that I was going to do it. So this was like the mentality that I had when I invested was like, I can't just throw this money away. It has to work. And that's the rationale I've brought like every time I've made an investment ever since. It's like, I can't just throw my money away. Like this has to work. I have to make this work. And so I have been committed to getting the result that I wanted to get. And I have not ever waited for my coach to make that result happen for me. I've been like, she can be asleep at the wheel for our entire coaching engagement, but I have to make my money back. So I'm going to make sure that happens. I have to make sure that I get what I came for. Like sometimes it wasn't even about making my money back, right? It was like, I have to more than make my money back. I have to like pay my bills and make this business work at the level that I want it to. So I am taking on full responsibility for that. And of course, she was not asleep at the wheel of our coaching, but it wouldn't have mattered to me. I was there to get what I came for. I was so committed to that. And I think a lot of it came from this fear. And so what I want to say about the fear with investing and courage is that courage is when we take action even when we're afraid. Courage is not what we do when we're not afraid. Like this isn't about not being afraid. Like courageous people are people who are afraid. Courageous people have to be afraid. Like by definition, you have to be afraid to be courageous. That's just how it works. And I think having this courage to make these kinds of investments is why I got here as quickly as I did. Even more terrifying than that first investment was deciding to invest $25,000 right after my husband lost his job. That was the only nest egg that I had built up in my business at a time when we had just lost our main source of income. It would have been so easy for me in that moment to justify not investing. That decision did not feel responsible. And I feel like so many of us have grown up being like conditioned to make really responsible choices that did not feel responsible. No one in my personal life would have thought it was a good idea. I did not tell them, by the way. Like, did you know this? You don't have to tell people about decisions you know they will disagree with. Life hack. Don't tell people about things if you don't want to hear about their disagreement, right? I kept it to myself. I didn't even ask my husband his opinion. I didn't want his opinion. I did not think it was going to serve me to hear his opinion. I told him, I'm doing this. I have to do this. And that's how I felt. Truly, I felt like I have to do this. Like if I don't do this, it will be bad. I was coaching somebody recently who joined Simple Scaling Mastermind in our last enrollment period. And she was like, I don't want to join out of scarcity or like lack. And I was like, why does that matter? Like, why does the reason matter? Is it possible that even if you join out of scarcity and lack, that you're still going to get the result that you want? Like, is it possible that the reason for joining doesn't actually matter? And she was like, oh, yeah. But I think that is totally where I was when I made this decision. I did not believe that my business would continue on its trajectory if I did not continue investing. I was terrified to not invest, and I was also terrified to invest. And now looking back, I am astounded. Like, the same way that I feel about people at the very beginning of their business making big investments, that's how I feel when I look back at the me who was like, I have to invest this $25,000 even though it's like the only money we have. That's amazing. Like, seriously, amazing. And I just decided to believe that I was going to continue making a lot of money. So amazing. That was November of 2019. So that was right at the beginning of that very speedy path to $1 million. And I think if I had chosen to go the safe way, on the safe road of not investing or deciding to take off a round or a couple rounds from my coaching, there is no way that I would have created $1 million when I did. No way. No way. Not investing would have reinforced my fearful beliefs because it would have been a decision coming from my fearful beliefs. Now, I want you to understand, like, that decision would have felt so justifiable. It would have felt so responsible. It would have felt so much more responsible than what I decided to do. Your husband loses his job, you have $25,000 and you invest it into coaching to grow your business. There are a lot of people who would think that is reckless. You should hold on to that money. You could pay a lot of bills with that money. That was multiple months of living expenses that I invested into my business. But think about the mentality I would have been in if I didn't make that decision. If I decided to keep that money, keep that nest egg, be able to support our family for a few months while my husband figured things out. What are the beliefs I would have been reinforcing about myself and about what my business was capable of if I kept that money? I would be telling myself that I'm not going to keep earning at that high level. I had just made $30,000 for the first time in a month. I would have reinforced to myself that that was a fluke, that that was not going to keep happening, that I was not going to grow, right? Think about that. So instead, I invested, and the decision to invest at that particular time, like I think I grew faster because I invested at that time. If he hadn't lost his job, I also am like, I don't think I would have grown as fast. I think because we were in that situation and I decided to invest in that, I think the belief I was fueling in myself was such a high level belief in what I was capable of. That decision reinforced all of my most courageous beliefs that I would make it work. And I really did, to the tune of over $2 million in the following 2 years. Insane. So, I feel like that was like so mic droppy. So this is it. This is why My path to 1 million went so much faster than my path to 100K. Simplicity, keeping the business so simple. Consistency, staying with one mentor, following one process, and seeing it through until I got the results I wanted and continuing to apply it at higher and higher levels to get all the results I wanted. And courage. Specifically, the courage to always invest. Even when it felt reckless, when it felt scary, when it was something no one else would have agreed with, when it didn't really make sense. That's why I grew as fast as I did. I didn't play it safe. So, I wasn't playing for the worst case scenario. I wasn't planning conservatively, right? If I was planning conservatively, I would not have made that investment. I was planning the most edgy, risky way, and I made it happen. That's how you make a fucking shit ton of money in a really fast period of time. That's it. All right. This is a deep one. I am sitting over here like in awe of me who did that, and in awe of all of you who are doing the same thing. You all are worth so much admiration. I hope you are so proud of yourselves and what you've created, no matter how much you've created so far. And I hope you are feeling proud in advance for what you are in the process of creating. All right, take those lessons, let them sit with you, let them challenge you and trigger you and inspire you. And I'll talk to you all again next week. If you like this podcast, I want to invite you to coach with me over in my program, Mama to CEO. There's you, and there's the consistent income you want to make in your business, and I help you remove everything standing in between. It's lifetime access for mastering your marketing, sales, time, and everything else you need to have the business and life you really want. Whether it's making your first 1,000 or 100,000, I can help you do it. To join, go to mamatoceo.com, mamatoceo.com.